Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video. You may recall from a few videos ago I had mentioned that I was getting kind of concerned with the number of female guppies I had left in the fish room. As the restrictions here lifted and I could start moving fish out into clients' tanks, I started doing so, and guppies are really great for that, and I had bred quite a few of them. Then I realized that I didn't have as many females left that I would feel comfortable with for a breeding program. So I said at the time what I was going to do is I was going to take the top 5 tanks of this row and I was going to set them all up for breeding guppies. Then, of course, this female bolerii had a nice mouthful of fry, and I moved her in here because it was one of the few tanks I had available at the time. And, of course, as you see, she spit out some lovely little babies, and then, unfortunately, once she's done that, she decided it was time to start digging around, partially probably for the shrimp that were in here and the scuds, and she's done a lot of digging. You can tell how turned over everything is. And she was also digging in here. I did actually manage to find a few shrimp, as you can see here, but she managed to clean up most of those, which is good for her. I mean, I have tons of shrimp, so it's not really a big deal. But she was also digging in here, moving gravel out, and just generally making a mess of that tank, so that really does need to be cleaned out. Now, one of the things I want to do while I'm doing that is, when I originally put these high humidity planters together, I just drilled a hole because I want to conserve as much humidity as possible. But I've been starting to switch them over to slotting it like this instead, because this is much easier to take off and on, and it doesn't actually really affect the amount of humidity in these things, so it's just definitely a better way of going. So I've moved the fry out. As you can see, they're in another aquarium with my Paleatus, and they'll be perfectly fine in here. I'm not concerned about their well-being as far as growing them out, because they're just a nice, tough, hardy fish. So this is the amount of gravel she actually pulled out of here, and I'm going to put that back in. I'm going to put it back in the aquarium, and then it's a simple matter now of, actually, one thing happened. As I was doing a lot of the water changes, my hose decided it was time to spring a leak, so it started spraying all over the floor. It's just a nuisance. It's not really a big deal because this is all in a basement. Somehow it just split like that. There's only a tiny little hole right in the middle of that, but it was enough to obviously soak the whole floor. And also, while I'm at this, what I want to do is prune this back. This is growing really, really well. Obviously more so than the space, so I have to pull some of it out. And this is, I don't know, like I said, when it gets a little overgrown like this, you can see some of the, especially on the left there, you'll see some of the leaves are a little bit darker. But it is an extremely efficient filter, and I don't want to disturb it too much. And the funny thing is, when I was doing this, I found out that some of the Java fern is actually growing really large in here. This is bigger than it has done so in most of the aquariums I have, so I pulled this one out. I'm going to keep it here in the pond for the moment. I'm going to obviously just attach it to something and see how well it continues to grow. That's kind of interesting. I didn't really expect that. So here it is, pruned back. No, it doesn't look like it, but it is actually a fair amount less. Enough, obviously, move to make it more roomy for the plants, but not enough to actually affect the filtration at all. So this is obviously a little bit cloudy. I did a substantial water change, about 3/4, but I took water from some of the guppy tanks to the right and left of this to make sure that I am having the same kind of water that the guppies are going to go into. So now it comes down to catching guppies. Now, if anyone's ever caught guppies, guppies are the easiest fish in the universe to catch, because they come up and they want to say hi, and they're, watch here. See, that's exactly what they do every time you try to go in an aquarium. And like a lot of fish, you stick a net in, and the fish kind of just take off. Not not guppies. The hard part about catching guppies is not catching guppies; it's catching a specific guppy, which is what I'm trying to do here. I want to catch. I'm going to take 2 females from this tank and 2 females from another tank, and then I'm going to pick one male from here, 1 male from another aquarium. I'm going to go to different aquariums and make sure I'm getting at least a little bit of different genetics. I mean, they all came from the original few fish that I got in when I first started trying to find guppies that will survive. A lot of store-bought guppies you take home, and they tend to hopefully drop a few fry, but then almost always they die off. So over time, I've actually managed to get a really hardy strain now going. There's 2 different color types, but I don't really worry about that a whole lot. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up 3 or 4 females in here and 2 males in that center slightly cloudy aquarium at the moment. And then what I'm going to do after that is, there you go, I got the first one finally. What I'm going to do after that is the tank right behind me at the moment, that one there, I am going to do a big water change on it. I'm going to pull out almost all the fish, and then I'm going to do the same thing with that. These are guppies in those two, that tank, the tank I'm fishing in, and then the tank that you can't see, which is on the far right. So those tanks I am going to, actually the one on the far right I'm probably going to leave as juveniles, fry, that sort of thing, and I'll pull fish out of there and spread them out to these tanks as time goes on. The far tank on the left there is platies at the moment, so I'm going to take all them out and I'm going to put them up in the paludarium. There's a nice colony growing in there, so that would be perfectly fine for that. And then you can see right on the far right of the screen are some black skirt tetras, and I want to breed them. I don't have any tanks set up for them at the moment, and I do want to put guppies in there. Now, I do have to alter how that pump works, because guppy fry will just go right through that pump and up into the leak-proof canister filter. So I do need to make an adjustment to that and get a sponge over it. I don't want to alter that filter at all, because it's doing extremely well, and I do want to run that long term just to show you guys how that kind of filtration system can stack up. I know I've done that a number of times already, but it's already set up, it's already doing perfectly fine, so it is just convenient just to keep it going. So to put guppies in that tank, I do need to alter how the water gets into the leak-proof canister filter. That's pretty much all there is going to be done to this entire top row, besides a bunch of pruning. If you might remember from a long time ago, I am setting up a rather large U-shaped paludarium for a client, and a lot of these plants are going to go into that. And the reason why I haven't prune this down drastically yet, because I do need those plants to go in there. So this is going to take probably a couple weeks to get all set up. I will probably do a update on this one tank here where I'm putting the guppies right now on Sunday, and I might actually get to doing a little bit more of this by then as well. If so, I'll do an update on that definitely at that point. I am obviously continuing to do work with the pond. I am switching over to the 7-foot tank. Should hopefully get a bunch of that done by I think hopefully starting next week. Again, there's lots of stuff on the go, lots of client stuff I'm doing as well, so we'll see how that all works out. So this is pretty much, I know, not really getting to see these guys too much. I am going to do a close-up of it at the end, and as you can see, I'm not being terribly picky about the colors of the fish I'm picking. I'm going mostly for fin structure, body, how they all look, and of course the energy of them. That's always the most important thing with me. I want very active, healthy looking fish, and these guys fit the bill. So they're going to sit in here and do their thing, and as they have fry, which I don't normally do, I am probably going to set up, like I said, a baby all baby tank, and then I'm going to be able to keep them in there and grow them out, and we'll gradually get the population back up. I want a lot more females, and I suspect, even though I know I'm going to put a lot of white clouds in the pond, I'm going to hopefully also keep a bunch of guppies in there. So anyway, leave comments, let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.